My favorite play was actually from the CLG TSM game when CLG won. It was Dexter on Lee Sin, he got the Q onto Wild Turtle, kicked him right in the double lift, and they turned a 2v3 around into a bear.
Peterson's very hurt on the outside, but that's the clone. He actually goes down to the hands of Dexter, and TSM is still trying to find where the rest of the team is. A double kill! Beautiful play from Dexter and double lift, so they're gonna keep going. A very low special. Eyes on Baron.
Without hesitation. With such huge stakes, they hadn't beaten TSM all year, and that play gave them their first win.
Welcome back to the North American Spring Playoffs. That play we just seen was actually a 4 versus 5 fight when it started. It was awesome.
That was from last week too, right?
It was, yeah, 2 weeks ago, I believe. Wow, we want to do a quick check-in with what you've been saying over at Twitter. Earlier today, we asked you, who is the backbone of your favorite North American LCS team and why? And here's what you've written in with. From @LarsNoRegards. In my opinion, Double Lift has stepped up as the backbone of CLG, bringing himself up to speed with the 80 carry meta of Sivir/Lucian. Maybe more Lucian in recent times. What's your take?
Yeah, he plays Lucian so much. I mean, he's always been the star of that team. He's always been solid. Always comes out and shines.
Yeah, wasn't enough to help him this series, unfortunately. Next one, @BeastModeMax. He says, Bjergsen is the carrier of the team, but the odd one is the backbone. The team lives and dies on his success. What do you think?
I'd say Odd One's definitely a rock in the team, but I wouldn't forget Darius after that last game. He looked really scary.
Contrast Darius game 1 and game 3, and yeah, I completely agree with you. Final one, Dat Trashy Guy. He says, Quas definitely is the backbone of Curse. That Jax play yesterday, putting everyone into his very large backpack. What do you reckon?
I mean, when Quas gets a lead, he knows how to like take control of the game with it. And whether it be Gragas, Mundo, Jax, all good.
He's going to play a bit more aggressive.
Yeah,
he's slow to get out the gate yesterday.
He's not so shy anymore, but yeah, he's coming out.
We'll see how they do against Cloud9. Thank you very much for your great responses and keep them coming. Remember to follow us at LOL Esports and use that hashtag LCS to join in on the conversation. Now, we're going to send it to freaking Kobe to get us into our second semi-final. But on our way, Curse say Cloud9 has an impressive track record in the regular season, in scrims, playing on a train or on a plane. They're dangerous with a plan. They're just a tough team. Saint, my man.
That's so
Cloud9's probably considered the best team in NA. As far as scrims go, they're the team that probably has the best win percentage against us, and I think probably has the best win percentage in scrims across all of NA.
I think every team is a threat to us, regardless of whatever standing is versus them. It can always change in the best of 3. It always changes throughout the season. Teams get better, teams get worse.
So Cloud9, they're all really good individually. They really have no weak spots in terms of mechanics or individual player performances, and they always show up to play.
I think the biggest thing for us today is not messing up our early game rotations. So we just have to be more conscious that every team is not going to do the same type of 2 versus 1.
I still think we're stronger than them, and in the best of 3, where the first game matters a lot, if we take it, we can pretty much take the whole thing.
The first win in a best of 3 match is very important, especially since we start blue side.
It would put so much pressure on Cloud9 if we're able to come out, win the first game.
I think our games versus Curse, generally we're pretty snowbally, which during playoffs we can just lose the game off level 1. I wouldn't want to lose the first game in a best of 3 against Curse.
If we manage to beat Cloud9 and beat the eventual winner of TSM and CLG, in that case we'd have the best shot of representing us on the international stage. I think that we can definitely do it. If we could get to that spot again and just show up and play, I think it would be pretty amazing.
Well, like the player said, there's a lot of pressure on winning that first game. We'll see who can pull it out. It's our second semifinal matchup, guys. Cloud9 versus Team Curse. Now, Kobe, Cloud9 are the defending Summer Champions title here. They're coming in with a lot of momentum, 13 wins in a row.
Yeah, they ended the spring split, tying their previous record for the longest winning streak. But really, they've been a solid unit all year long, showing that they can not only make quick adaptations to the game, but they also really embraced that change. You could say that they were almost even playing on the 4.5 patch before it even hit, like using supports as solo laners in the case of High Soraka. And they also made correct early game invades and put very, very deep wards into the jungle so they could continue to roll that advantage.
Yeah, they're incredibly good at that. But as we heard St. Vicious say, Curse is a momentum-based team, and they're coming off a big and very emotional win yesterday in the quarterfinals. Quas even tweeted, huge weight off our shoulders, not having to worry about playing relegations again.
Yeah, the team looked like they got past their playoff jitters after their first game against Dignitas yesterday, and they made it through the first round, getting their first playoff series win. Their place is secured for the summer split now. So they really don't have much to lose now and a whole lot to gain. They can play like they have nothing to lose. Therefore, you know, they have a better chance this time around. They've never beat Cloud9, so this would definitely be another huge boost to the team's morale, as well as a high watermark for the entire organization.
Yeah, absolutely. Forever fourth curse. They need to finish above that for like pretty much the first time in playoffs. See if they can do it. Let's check out the starting lineups here. On the blue side is Cloud9. Balls in the top lane, Meteos in the jungle, High in mid, Sneaky on AD carry, and LemonNation on support.
And on the red side, it's Curse. Up top is Quas in the jungle, IWillDominate, Voyboy mid, Cop AD carry, and Bunny FuFuu support.
And in our featured match, we're heading into the jungle for Meteos versus IWillDominate.
Yeah, I like both of these guys. They're aggressive junglers, and they bring a lot of options to the table for both of their teams. Meteos is a powerhouse. You know, he's taking the MVP honors for his last playoff performance. And what makes this matchup really interesting is that they're both flexible junglers that can play the farm-heavy Pharaoh Flare style or the gank-heavy early game. So it's really the team's choice. What type of team do they want to run? They have so many options for, as far as the game plan that they need to lay out coming into the series.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to know, because you know we saw TSM, right? Their first match of 4.5. It took them a game and a half to get started and play it properly. And I want to know.
And then they returned to their old style.
Yeah, but at least they played it right. And I want to know if Cloud9 is going to be slow started as well. We haven't seen them yet on 4.5. Now, guys, for an inside story on our next showdown, let's send it down to Jat, who's Rift side.
Thank you, freaking Kobe. And I am with Charlie, Cloud9's analyst, actually. I want to ask you guys, at least earlier today, what have you done to just prepare yourselves for this match?
We had breakfast, which is pretty good. We had eggs and bacon and sausage. And then we came to the studio and we watched the TSM versus CLG games. So I'll talk about some Curse preparations.
So was all your preparation done previously, or was some of it still done this morning for this upcoming Curse game?
We didn't go to bed till we figured out with everything and everybody agreed with. We spent hours last night talking about games today.
Okay, so with hours spent last night talking about the games today, does your preparation, how does it change and your mindset change from the regular season matches to a playoff matchup like you have today?
Well, the biggest difference is a best of 3. So we can prep as much as we want for the first game, but the second game is almost unable to be predictable because things change depending on win or lose. So they have to react correctly for it.
And I got a final question for you. When you're looking up against this Curse team, what do you have to watch out for?
They play the most random champions. So it's better to pick what you want than try to take away one of their champions or try to pick a counter.
All right, so Cloud9, well prepared. Thank you very much, Charlie. Best of luck going into the game. Freaking Kobe, take it away.
Thank you very much, Jat. We're going to get ourselves now into Champion Select. This is going to be all kinds of interesting. I love the games that get played in a BO3 because you start funneling or kind of tunneling on like certain champions. Like, oh, you know, Jax is a big deal here. Or do we remove the Mundo? Like, is the poke comp too good? And you keep making adaptations game to game.
Yeah, like Charlie said, especially Curse are a team that plays so many different champions. They not only play different champions, they play all different styles. They play pretty much every style in the game. So I'm very excited to see what they think is the best style to go up against Cloud9 in, because that's what they're going to use in the first game. This is where you have that element of surprise. This is where CLG got their good start versus TSM, pulling out those globals. You know, they really got the jump on them and got the momentum for the rest of the series, and then petered out. We'll have to see if Curse can actually make one of those early moves too.
Yeah, I do like what Curse did throughout the regular season, though, because they ran something like 8 different types of team comps throughout the weeks, and it was like, okay, these work for these reasons, these fail for these reasons, and just built this like giant repository of strats to see what's good, what's bad, what it fails against. I like there's so much experience during the regular season for the Curse lineup. We are going through Champ Select, though. The Rise, the Jax band away from Curse, the Kazakhs away from Meteos. I know Saint says that Xin Zhao is actually the best jungler in the game right now. I want to see if this actually pulls through for these teams as well.
I mean, the junglers right now, there are so many junglers that are good. It's very hard to ban out junglers. Kazakhs is definitely at the top, though. The one I'm really looking at here is a blue side ban of Jax. So Cloud9 do not look like they would want to first pick that ever. So Ball's definitely known for being a very strong Renekton and Shyvana player. Would much rather have one of those champions. We could always see a Rumble come out as well. He definitely has that one in his back pocket.
Definite possibility, but it's going to be the Nocturne ban coming through. They're away from Meteos, so one conventional jungler, one Feral Flare jungler. First pick onto Lucian goes through, though, for C9. There's a lot of other good things open. You've got the big bullies like Renekton. You've got mid laners like Lulu still around.
Yeah, AD carries aren't usually seen as, first pick power picks.
Yeah.
Because they're very similar. However, Lucian is one of the AD carries in North America that's highly prioritized. Among Doublelift, among Sneaky, and Wild Turtle, the top 3 AD carries really prefer this champion, and he has had a great run in North America.
Yeah, as Quickshot keeps saying, undefeated so far in playoffs, got banned last game. Mundo still coming through for Quas here, really liking this pickup, but Lulu does come through for Curse, and we'll see if that goes mid or support.
Yeah, Lulu, definitely a flex pick. It's interesting to me that both top laners right now still have Ignite as one of their summoners. Pretty sure that those will be swapped out at some point. Teleport, Heal, and Exhaust pretty much seem like the go-to new 3 power summoner spells to add onto your Flash.
I want to know if Hai actually learned more of the support mid laners. Lulu's taken away, Soraka's been banned. Has he learned the Karma? Does he have the Orianna in his back pocket he can bring out here? Is that going to be the continued style for C9? That was what CLG was largely running. And yes, C9 does play some of those heavy supportive lineups, but do they have the aggressive ones, right? Elise jungle comes through for the first time here today. Morgana support, these are very standard things as of the last patch.
Yeah, this is really interesting because we talked about how TSM, towards the end of the series, they fell back on comfort picks. Meteos has always loved Elise. They're immediately going right back to that champion, not embracing the Pharaoh Flare. When I talked to him before, he was saying, yeah, in scrims, I definitely tried out the Pharaoh Flare. Like they've actually used it several times, and they felt like, yes, we won some games with it, and it scales up really nicely, but if he was on another jungler with a spirit item, they could have won the exact same game, but earlier. So he feels like he can actually end the game much earlier with one of these champions going spirit items and forgoing all of the pharma.
All right, so early power play jungler here from Meteos, kind of forsaking his old style of farm for 30 minutes and be the biggest factor in their team fight. Cop just keeps clicking Graves and Twitch. He's going to settle in. It looks like on Graves here with Leona support coming in. So Graves making a big resurgence of 4.5 after the buffs, and Bunny FuFuu for his 17th straight game on Leona.
Yeah, basically every time Thresh is banned, picks into Leona. And I love Graves with Leona. This is one of the funnest kill lanes that there are out there. As soon as you hit level 6, try and blow up somebody on the map. Whether it's a 2 vs 2 or a 2 vs 1, they're going to try and combo somebody.
All right, they're going to go for the burst. We'll see what else they can put in here. They still need a jungler here on the Curse lineup. I'm a little surprised to see it get picked last just because they had no reason to rush pick the Leona here. But with nothing to be contested, Cloud9 actually going to go pretty offensive there. Trundle going to match up against Mundo top lane and Leblanc mid again.
Yeah, the Leona into Morgana is still an ongoing debate because there is outplay potential from both of the champions. So it definitely is skill-based.
There's actually an interesting story talking with Saint. He said, Bunny FuFuu actually likes playing Thresh against Morgana, even though it's typically considered a good for Morgana matchup because while the hook cooldown is so much lower than Black Shield, similarly, Leona's cooldowns are lower than Black Shield's cooldown. So you do one engage and Shield comes out, and you just try again before it comes back up.
Yeah, the difference there is that when Leona uses her Zenith Blade, she's going in, and Thresh does not have to go in when he uses his hook, so he won't have to take damage there. But yeah, I do like Curse's lineup so far. They have so much wave clear. Lulu and Graves. Even if it's a support Lulu, it would have added enough wave clear, but it is going to be mid. So they've got tons of wave clear, tons of mid-game team fight potential. This is a beastly mid-game team fight here from Team Curse. And again, this is something that they had success with in the previous series versus Dignitas. Hard engage with Leona, team fights. That's what they look for. They're trying to track Cloud9 down in the jungle, in the mid game sometime, and kill them.
Well, we'll see if Curse can do it. Zhao does get picked up there on the jungle for IWillDominate. And Curse going to make as many rotations as they can, make all the moves, teleport, heal there for Mundo as well. So that's, I guess, standard summoner spells for that champion at this point. Cloud9 playing pretty much their normal stuff. I feel like Hai doesn't play a ton of LeBlanc, but definitely a champion knows.
He definitely likes that champion. He's pretty big on assassins, and they're not going to go with the shield team fighting comp here. Running up against Curse, they are going to be looking more for picks with this. Morgana is a great champion for that. LemonNation, I'm pretty sure he had a full Morgana page in his champion or game history, just because he loves the champion so much. He's been playing it over and over and over, and the bindings have been on point from him.
Yeah, he's been great. So the game's about to get underway. Let's check out who you guys are predicting to win. And according to LOLesports.com, 83% of you are tipping this in Cloud9's favor. And remember, you guys can also vote on Twitter.
Yeah, send us your pick by tweeting at LOL Esports and use the hashtag C9win or CRSwin. We will be checking on the vote throughout the series.
And remember to use the actual shorthand for those teams. We had a couple of guys tweet the full word of curse win.
Yeah. Hashtag curse win actually won't give you any vote.
Yeah, it won't make a win anymore.
Those.
But if you type CRS, it will. So keep that in mind, guys. C9's at least easier because it's the general shorthand for these guys. But just so you all know about this one, we're getting ourselves now into game 1 of the second semifinals. Winner is going to face off against TSM tomorrow for a trip to the All-Star Invitational. Loser will fight CLG in the 3rd place match.
All right, so ward starts for both supports. Pretty common nowadays, getting that extra gold so you can have at least 1 true ward for the early game. Very important. LemonNation will have extra damage for the turret, but Leona can help execute, so also helping out in the shove if there is a 2 versus 1, which it looks like it will be. Curse already have the duo up towards the top side. A little bit of vision there as well while Leona's placing the ward.
Oh, I want to see what these guys do with this one. So Hai's going to wait around. And of course, if he gets caught, he's likely safe. He already actually has a point in distortion. I don't feel like Hai could die unless something catastrophic happens to him.
Yeah.
Worth pointing out, 4 summoner heals on Team Curse. Quas brought one, Voy brought one.
30 seconds until minions.
Plenty of healing there in this one. Cloud9 actually only running 2, just their duo lane, but the extra flash for balls and the ignite for Hai for the fight potential.
Yeah, Hai has started Distortion and Lemon has started Binding. Those are the only 2 spells that they have locked in so far. 2 best spells for the early game here.
Yeah.
Lemon will be probably going for a late invade on blue then.
And Curse definitely initiating the 2-on-1 lane swap. With LemonNation and Balls both down here, but Sneaky making his way down as well. It's going to be C9 setting their duo lane to this side of the map. Meteos also helping out, and C9 will invade towards the blue buff.
Okay.
Exact same for Curse.
So both junglers are going to secure themselves. The blue buff starts, and it will probably turn into the 4-0 pushes after this, if everything plays out as normal. Perfectly mirrored map right now, by the way. Even the places where they put their first wards are even. So both of the teams talking about how they don't want to take any unnecessary risks. This is the most low-risk start to the games that teams have been going with.
We'll watch the first couple of moves here. Looks like Meteos and Balls will take the Wolf Camp down, then go for the white. IWillDominate and Quas start up the Wolves, and they'll be taking...
They're a little bit behind.
They are a bit slower, actually. Yeah, the duo lane's getting the slow push going. There's level 2. Cloud9's going to get there first. The second minion wave's now reaching the lanes. Actually, this might be third. I want to see if there's a cannon here. Nope, these are the second waves. Third ones have just spawned.
Right, and so you were talking about, since we're seeing so many of these, you like when they push with the second wave and don't wait for the third wave.
I think it's smarter.
Because a lot of the minions get killed by your opponent's minions in the process of waiting.
Yeah.
Neither team waiting this time around, and they all do the 4-man level 2 shove. This is, first time I saw it was Complexity Black from the Challenger League, actually.
Yeah, I thought they were kind of the first team to show me it. And there might have been other teams who learned the strat as well, but that was a team who put on the first good performance of that sort of situation, of that setup. It worked quite nicely. Curse, there we go, taking out the tier 1 turret there, but they're much slower than Cloud9. You're seeing great wave clear from LemonNation. Actually takes 1 minion with that one. But the push continues now. Cloud9 with a lead on this.
Yeah, I don't think it will cost Curse much. They should be able to catch right back up, especially since the cannon minion timing was the same for both. And it could do most of the tanking. They're actually going to be a few seconds behind, so we'll see if Cloud9 can actually capitalize on the few seconds lead. Moving forward, after the turrets go down, you always want to watch where the big wave is going to go and how each team leaves the wave. Are they going to leave it pushing all the way into the turret so it builds up more slowly, or do they leave it right after the turret?
Well, Kopak's taking a bit of damage from Balls there. He finally takes the turret down, tries to deny as much as possible. Binding won't land. Sneaky about to do the same thing here. Takes the turret down. Wave's basically dead, but there's 1 minion left, which could enable the smallest of freezes here for Quas.
So, I usually give the advantage to the team that's able to build up their wave first. And since both teams left it at the turret, it's going to be very close. But it looked like there was a little bit more down on the Cloud9 team. Because usually, whoever builds up that wave first is able to make the power move. The first choice in the game is everyone shoving with that giant wave and trying to either beat your opponents to that top turret and go for a dive on them, or completely zone them out from the turret, in which case you gain the objective, you zone them out from the creeps, and it's a huge win. But the teams have adapted so well now, that's very rare for one of the teams to get beat to a position like that. They can recognize which wave is bigger and get in place for defense quick enough.
Well, right now, both these guys are in similar spots. You're seeing those waves are around the white camp. As they build forward, you're seeing Quas and Balls doing mirrored stuff right here. The duo lanes going to make their way towards mid. Actually, Voy's going to switch and head to this solo lane, whereas Cloud9 seem to have most of their team near the mid right here. So, bit of a different move, but Voy's going to get more golden XP this way, and he actually stops the push entirely.
Yeah, so he's not even going to let the push get to the turret, not even going to let Cloud9 push with it. The advantage of going something that's as safe as Lulu, who not only has amazing wave clear but also a speed buff for herself, is that he can extend himself like that. He's also got great ward coverage in the river already, so he is feeling very confident, and we won't see even the small amount of early action that we sometimes do see after these turrets go down.
Yeah, it's going to be the rotation as well. Cloud9's bottom lane making the same move. They've held this one, so we're going to have actually extended 2-on-1 lanes right here. We've got the 2-on-1 Curses duo lane fighting up against High. On the bottom side, Sneaky LemonNation will fight Quas. And a little bit of harassment. High showing not very much fear and actually lasting under turret for the most part. I want to see if anyone really does get denied. You compare High versus Voyboy, and actually this Lulu has a significant minion lead.
Yeah, he did a good job. He got there very quickly to head off that minion wave. I have to say, High, when going in to harass a Leona Graves that are standing right next to each other, the only thing he's got to be worried about is the stun from Leona. If she can tag him quick enough when he comes in, then it's a huge amount of burst that he's going to lose in that trade, which would give the other team control of Dragon. Right now, what Curse are trying to get is actually a teleport advantage, because forcing this, they force Cloud9 to choose. Do they want to burn their teleport down and come contest it? Or have Trundle, who's a very slow wave pusher, stay up there?
Well, a little bit of harass comes out. There's the TP, but maybe a bit late. Dragon goes down, but even with the front lines, there's a dive, but Cop will survive with this one. Sneaky on the backside of the fight, force a disengage from IWillDominate. Now Voyboy locked up with the pillar. The great binding finds Bunny FuFuu down to 200 health. The Leona flashes the wall. Voyboy leaving as well. Balls is gonna try. There's the distortion in for a High. Does he get the damage? Voy falls for first blood. Now Balls in the fight with Dominate. Dominate does not have flash. He gets the knockup though. There comes Cop, but the double kill comes through. High finding two.
And also Mundo had to use his teleport to escape, so he's gone top. Teleport for teleport, both burned. I feel like Cloud9 played it pretty well because the early Dragon does a lot of damage, but if they called for the Trundle teleport a few seconds earlier, then they might not have even given up the Dragon. And Elise has a great chance of stealing a Dragon if they actually go for this a bit earlier. So the actual team fight though, after Dragon's already dead and everyone is exchanging, Lulu's being chased by Dominate, who's not able to get anything, and it left Bunny FuFuu on the front lines there. He got locked up. This is one of the classic exit fights that we've seen over and over because of these early Dragons. Everyone flashing over those walls, and that's the teleport I talked about, Quas getting out on the bottom side. 2 members, 4 Dragon, even on the teleports, though.
What's going to mean it's a 1,000 gold lead for Cloud9 overall, though, so the early game has gone the way of the blue team. So one thing to keep in mind with this one. So we'll see where people move around. So far, it is going to be, of course, I know we talked about this in the early game, but Wriggles, the build for IWillDominate, Ancient Golem, standard for Meteos there. So far, Wriggles not combined yet, though, 9 minutes in. So got to keep track of when that actually comes online.
Yeah, Saint was actually saying that he kind of likes the swaps like this, even when he's running a Pharaoh Flare, because you get that global gold from the turrets that go down so early that you can get such a quick Wriggles that your clear speed is increased that much. You don't get too far behind on large jungle kills. Dominate, though, able to clear his jungle and then get ward coverage as well.
Yeah, one thing I like as we talk about the way people are playing builds and whatnot is that all the Leblancs I've seen are going for Deathfire Grasp. That with you know, there being so many summoner heals, people being very defensive and having shields, someone like Leblanc needs more damage to get through that, and I haven't seen almost any Athene's Leblancs.
Yeah, especially since they rely on him for wave clear here as well in this mid game. He needs that AP for his distortion, so early needlessly large rod. I like the pickup for him, going that route, as well as trying to get through the anti-assassin meta. I mean,
exhaust, though.
It's all, yeah, it is very scary for High to go for that wave clear when there's 4 people in front of him, but he's done a very good job so far as a mid lane LeBlanc, holding on. Tied with Lulu.
Yeah, he's caught right back up in minions. The other random build thing I want to point out, unless there's a... Nope, not too much of a battle. I looked at Quas's runes after the last game he played on his Mundo, and he ran health per level seals and % health quints. It's the first time I've actually seen those in competitive, but he opened up every single game, double Ruby Crystal into a Giant's Belt.
And the per level cooldown reduction on his lifts. So all scaling runes there. He's a completely scaling Mundo. He's not going for any in the early game, which Mundo should not. So very good job by Quas, and you would expect nothing less from one of the main Mundo players that we've got in North America.
And Curse, though, they get their team all the way down to the mid lane. The turret's going to go. Curse find the 3rd turret of the game, bringing the gold right back to equal here.
Punishing balls for this freeze with Trundle. As I said, Trundle extremely slow at shoving waves anyway, so he very naturally goes with these slower pushing side lanes. And with a teleport down, there's no way for Cloud9 to answer. As we said, they have very risky wave clear in mid, if any at all. And Curse do a great job of punishing for that. You know, Curse picked up all this crazy wave clear of Lulu and Graves very early, left not that much for Cloud9 to go with.
Well, we'll see then what Cloud9 can do then, because Sneaky's off on this side of the map, shoving just the wave up, but he's not really defending a turret. He's just getting farm and then leaving the lane again. So Cloud9 splitting their farm pretty equally across all the roles, 77, 75, 77. Pretty similar here for Curse. So no one's gotten, at least no one's got like long-term freezes, right? Like no one's been able to sit there and get 100 minions over 11 minutes and just sit there getting everything. It's been a little bit more opportunistic. People leave their waves when there's some gank pressure. Ball's here with only a little bit of ward coverage. He's got to be slightly careful, but so far he's still sitting near one by his tri-brush.
Yeah, it's mostly been that Curse have been able to kill minions quicker in order to then make their movements over towards that mid turret, and they did a great job. But look at this, Cloud9 did the exact same thing. When Curse go back to buy, they make their move up mid. It's exposed, they have plenty of damage, they're going to try and answer this turret. They've got a long way to go to get through it though.
You're seeing the wave clear just enough here for Curse. This turret's going actually down fairly low. I'm not sure if Cloud9 can stay. Looks like they will.
Get it. No Graves there.
Exactly. Yeah, outnumbered. Cloud9 not allowing Curse to go in. Curse knowing they'd go in and die if they did. Sweeper use kills the ward off. High only level 8 though. It's going to be a 2-minute cooldown, not a 1-minute cooldown of that trinket. Wish they had a little bit more experience. Could sweep twice as many wards right now.
So close. Now, really those 2 kills are pretty much the only difference in this game. Mirrored strategies so far for the first 13 minutes coming out. Another big difference is that Pharaoh Flare. Dominate has been able to get his wriggles, but since they were pushing turrets so often, hasn't been able to stack it up very much. Good teleport in.
Not going in. Bunny people low on health. Here comes Balls and Quas. Their damage goes on to the support of Curse. Gonna let him disengage. High. Knocked right to the back line. Sends the clone in. Voyboy in the middle as well. The jump forward. IWillDominate looking for the kill onto High, but gets cocooned across the wall. Meteos finds the first go, but it's traded back by Quas. Meteos forced to run still. The ulti from LemonNation. Gonna be a 3-man stun, but he's not got a lot of places to go still. Meteos slowed down. Quas still massively disruptive in this mid game. His ulti's finally timed out, but it's gonna be enough. A double kill. High goes down. 4 kills for Curse.
Mundo, the massive health tank, soaking up a lot in that fight. And look at Quas. That is a sign of a well-played Mundo. He used everything. Teleport, heal, and his ulti, and gets out with only a sliver of life, still able to help with the dragon. So Balls, like as he said, he called out the flanking teleport. It's a good move, but all of the burst and the skill shot CC used on the support of Curse, plus they don't even finish off the kill because of the heal summoner. After High uses all his burst on the support, he's free for Dominate to go aggressive on, and they get him very low. Even though Dominate does go down in the end, there's that Mundo that we talked about. LemonNation tries to stick everybody with his ulti, and he gets 4 people. Second proc stuns 3, which is a really strong ulti from Morgana. However, the whole team not able to put out damage while he's stunning up the rest of Curse. And they do go down. As I said, the mid-game team fight for Curse is beastly. We saw it in action there. That's what we were talking about in Champ Select.
So it's a 600 gold lead for Curse. High. Woo. Gets the ward down immediately. It's like, oh, we got some Mundo. Pieces out.
Good distortion.
Yeah. More like a ditch distortion. He's like, getting the heck out of there.
Heyo.
Yeah.
Mixed reviews on that one. Mixed reviews.
That's all I'm going for. It was not universally booze. I've succeeded with this one.
Now, they also got the large wave top that Trundle was sort of slow pushing, and Quas has been able to soak that one up. As we talked about before, Quas going with a full scaling Mundo. He will get very strong fairly quickly here. And it is going to be up to Balls to always use his ulti on Dr. Mundo, or IWillDominate after Dominate has used his ulti. You'll get those extra resistances.
Yeah, and I want to know actually, like, so hold on, this is going to be actually kind of rough for Balls. Will he survive this fight? The Agony's Embrace is on. There's the ulti popped as well.
He only has Cutlass.
And it's going to be the stun coming down from Bunny FuFuu. The push in. Balls not in a good spot at all. Completely locked down. Down to 1/4 health. Trying to run away. Pillar comes out, but that trophy might not be Cloud9's. Doesn't quite deck down Quas. Kill picked up for the top laner there of Curse. And every single game, Quas opens up with component items. Always up a Ruby Crystal, always a Giant Spell. No rush for the Sunfire Cape, just gets tanky.
Yeah, extremely tanky, and he's able to continually slow Balls. Balls had wards, by the way, up this top line, but Bunny FuFuu came with a nice little sneaky gank right behind him and was able to get in position. So it looked like Quas definitely had the upper hand there, but he would not have been able to get that kill without Bunny FuFuu. Good roaming gank from the support. Able to get Curse back another kill and edge them just over the 24 mark, so he can get the gold lead back.
Yeah, but Cloud9, they actually managed to steal the blue buff away with all that happening, even though it was only 3v3 on the bottom side of the map. Play still was, the play was still made. So it's worth pointing out though, in TSM versus CLG in the first couple of games, CLG was a team that got the turrets, got the dragons, and TSM stole the golems, the golems, the red buffs, and it didn't matter. Well, Cloud9 stealing buffs away, but if they don't control major global objectives, it might not be enough. High gets slowed down, has the distortion out.
And it's not hurting Dominate too much. He's doing a good job of clearing the small camps to stack up his Barrel Flare. Almost ready for conversion here. 23 stacks.
Yeah, so he's looking at like an 18-minute combine right there, which is a pretty good clip.
For the 2 versus 1, yeah. LemonNation showing off his Morgana skills there. So many games put in, trying to get the aim down perfect. Let's see what the next move from Cloud9 are, because it seems like they've got more early game pick-oriented style here. They've got good ward coverage in Curse's jungle. So what they would like to do is try and capitalize on that and catch people who are out of position with that Elise, with that Leblanc, with the Morgana. However, all this shoving, they haven't been able to get anyone out of position from Curse. It's actually been Curse who have been coming up with the ganks, and Curse that are coming up with the picks.
Yeah, they're absolutely the team making the moves here. It's weird, like Cloud9 seem very, very reactive, very passive in this game, unlike the team that's coming in as the #1 seed. I mean, Cloud9, the clear favorites. They've won split after split. Well, they've won the only split they've been a part of. They're the #1 seed in this one.
It's true. I mean, Curse are a very big underdog coming into this, but we talked about how relaxed they look after they finally beat Dignitas. It gave them so much momentum, took so much weight off of their shoulders, and they're playing much better than they even did in that series. Coming in here, they're looking very strong.
Yeah, I don't see really any major mistakes. Barrel Flare done now, 1828. Going to be higher damage there. IWillDominate not getting too greedy with the build. It's going to be Hex Drinker into Merc, treads nose with a lot of magic damage, some stuns, roots on a Bunny FuFuu, but that is a durable LeBlanc. Like, that's the only guy that C9's getting any poke on. Otherwise, Cloud9 are basically treading water in lanes and waiting for dragons till things happen.
Yeah, that Xin Zhao is looking pretty good right now. If he's able to move in towards Randuin's, he will be a strong tank right alongside Quas. And tanks are very strong right now. We say it's the anti-assassin meta. Because there's so many heals going on, the tank stats are really, really effective. all these resistances, you get so much health to work with that you're getting back. That a strong tank line scaling is, you know, just as good as a hyper carry almost nowadays.
Yeah, and I'm wondering actually if that's going to eventually change the AD carry picks or even mid laner picks to guys who have more % health damage. Like, what happens when Malzahar becomes a top pick mid laner because he can kill Mundo? Like, that's not out of the realm of possibility. I mean, we see champions come up out of nowhere all the time. Mid lane Karma got a pentakill today.
Yeah, well, we already see some sort of reaction. I mean, Cloud9 did lock in Trundle, so he can bust one of those tanks. Problem for them is that there are two of them. There will be two of them.
There will absolutely. Quas gonna pop the ulti to get away from this one. Dodges the chain. High.
Oh, 0 for 2.
Both, actually. Cocoon also gonna get juked away. Quas uses the time to buy his team a dragon to the bottom side of the map. Cloud9 will get a turret with the 3, but a mid-game dragon worth more than 650 gold.
And as Saint keeps pointing out with the junglers with FLICKR, the thing is, when the junglers go and they try and clean up scraps on areas where the team is weak, that's where you're making the wrong move as a FLICKR. You need to go to an opposite side of the map and take something else. You can clear dragons so fast if the team go top for your red buff or for your top turret. You go and you exchange. You don't try and clean up the remnants of your destroyed top lane. You take something somewhere else.
We'll see what these guys can take right here. Sneaky gonna take the mid lane. Meteos is back on his base. He bought again early Aegis pickup for him, and also cooldown boots. I don't see those hyper often on an Elise. Normally you see the rush to Sork shoes, maybe the haunting guys afterwards, but Meteos saying, you know what? We'll out-tank you guys. Let's grab more defensive stats.
You know what it is? It's actually the new Elise scaling into late game because the cocoon actually stuns for longer.
Yeah.
He can get more cocoons off now. That scale up to 2-second stun. And they're really looking for those picks. He's playing completely utility Elise. Not only is it the cooldown reduction, also that magic resist aura, which will also add more cooldown reduction when he upgrades it into Locket.
Yeah.
He's trying to provide that CC for his team. Utility Elise. Well, interesting. We'll see how it turns out here, because he does have a decent health pool as well.
Yeah. You know what else I just realized as well? You were talking about Trundle being picked up. Elise and a Deathfire Grasp also have % health damage. Like, Quas will have like 5k health end game, and there's 3% health damage champions right now on Cloud9 who can maybe make a dent in that. Maybe they need Void Staff to make that happen first.
Yeah, if he doesn't have that penetration, it will be harder, but you're right. I do like the trend.
We'll see. So far, Dominate not actually buying much health. It's actually all in shields and regeneration. Also a good point to keep in mind. Voyboy as well with shields. All similar situations. Bunny, FuFuu also going towards Locket. So shields and reductions right now the case.
And this is a dead even game with a slight vision advantage for Cloud9. Curse might be getting into a little trouble there. Dominate was trying to come for a side gank without vision control. That's pretty dangerous to do, especially against a team like Cloud9, who do ward their jungle very, very often. You can see the 2 defensive pink wards that are very common for this team. And those mid-game team fights very well could break out around those pink wards. As I said in the last series, defending pink wards is one of the main ways that you do get picks towards the mid-game nowadays.
Well, right now it's going to be a little bit of poke going back and forth. Sneaky not going to get picked off at all here. 216 minions on him, actually. Cloud9 are starting to funnel a bit of their gold towards the AD carry. When Sneaky gets towards 4 items, Last Whisper, Infinity Edge, that will be a much more powerful champion. I think it's likely he goes Phantom Dancer and not Triforce there. It's the better late game build, and it seems like that's where this game is heading. But Zeal does build onto both. We'll see where he goes.
5-man move here from Curse. Now finally committing to a move on the map, getting that Baron cleared out. There's a bottom lane that's pushing against them, though. Curse have to be careful. They made this mistake before against Dig. They commit towards mid when they had side lanes pushing. This time around, though, they've got Cloud9's attention, and they are not going to be out-positioned.
And right now, Curse have the inside track on the Baron area. The bottom lane just has a gigantic minion wave pushing on in. That's totally safe, though. No champions heading that one up, and it's just going to be easy defense for Curse here.
What's hilarious? Everybody's cracking up.
No idea what happened. Doesn't matter. Cloud9 are safe. Pushing up the mid lane. Voyboy puts the Whimsy on. Teleport in from the back line as well. Quas will engage the fight. Here we go. Quas locked down, but gets the ulti, and Cocoon coming across. There comes IWillDominate. Hits 3. A big burst comes through, does not quite catch Voyboy though. LemonNation healing himself. Voy, he will almost drop. He does 1 for 0, but Cloud9 start to melt. 2 for 1 so far. Actually, Cloud9 still staying ahead. Cop puts the damage on. He finds high. Quas falls down. Sneaky forced to run. He does stay alive. LemonNation and Meteos find the cleanup, actually. Cloud9 crushing the battle. Bunny FuFuu trying to run away, but C9 actually gonna go 5 for 1 in that fight.
Well then. 24 minutes in, Cloud9 get an ace out of a completely even game. The teleport in the back for Mundo. He takes a lot right now. 4 members focus on him. There's that percent damage focus that you talked about with Elise, getting him down low. He gets popped right back up with Lulu, but they don't have a lot of the follow-up damage after this. And the focus onto Voyboy getting caught up there in the middle really was a turning point. Dominate also going down at the same time. Comp was trying to flash in to make sure somebody on Cloud9 died, but they only got 1 kill. This utility Elise from Meteos, again, I want to point it out because at the mid game, it's extremely strong with the aura that he's providing to the team as well as a cooldown reduction.
And I gotta say, I was very impressed by Sneaky in that fight as well. He is the #2 highest damage dealer to champions in the LCS and the lowest deaths in North America. And you saw him get focused initially by Dr. Mundo, kite back, and then stay in the battle the entire time.
Yeah, Mundo kind of gave up his mission.
He turned back towards
high. Following towards Sneaky there, yeah, and he turned back towards high. Now, Sneaky did pick up the Trinity Force, so he's not going for that later game build you're talking about with the Fan Dancer. Mid-game power, they just want an ace, they want to push it.
Oh boy, with the knockup's gonna stop the distortion there. Quas forced to disengage, pops his ulti for that one. Does have Spirit Visage and a Sunfire, but Cloud9, they own the mid lane right now. They're gonna move in tier 2 turrets, gonna be theirs. Curse will not stop for Dragon. They're gonna have to recall to the base and defend the inhibitor.
Yeah, I mean, Cloud9's strengths have been the movements around the map as well as the team fights, and they showed right there. Great job reacting to the teleport in from Mundo. Curse initiated the fight, and they destroyed them. Wow! With this Baron, they do it again.
And it's going to be Bunny FuFuu going down as well. The engage from IWillDominate backfires here. Quas also under fire. Meteos finds a stun on a Voyboy and just goes in for it. Dodges the buckshot. Damage goes through. Quas falls 3-0 plus mid inhibitor for Cloud9.
Just a dominating performance for Cloud9. Again, this time, Curse trying to force the fight. Wow, Cloud9 have Baron buff. And man, the DFG, the Elise, and the Trundle are enough to deal with the Mundo here from Quas. He got that one mid-game team fight where he was a beast around Dragon, and they were able to come out with a pretty big lead, but now Cloud9 have a very dominating lead. And there's the Void Staff that we were looking for.
Yep.
For Meteos. His percentage damage now will be hitting home on Quas.
Finishes the locket too for good measure.
All right, Dominate gets annihilated when he goes in. Maybe he should have got second item, tank item, instead of going with that Hex Drinker. It does provide a nice shield, but that's not nearly enough to help him survive through this one, especially with Sneaky getting so much money in that last fight. The Bloodthirster Trinity Force combo is such a ridiculous mid-game physical damage spike. You need to have some sort of physical resistance. He's got a Warden's Mail, but not a lot of health to back that up. And he can have all the sustain in the world he wants with his W and with his Feral Flare, but he's not getting attacks off, so it doesn't mean anything.
I mean, Last Whisper is also already done for Sneaky. Sneaky is now an item ahead of the tank line at this point, which is exactly what you want. Is okay, I've got Last Whisper before Randwiz is done. That means you've got this great power spike as an AD. If Sneaky stays safe, then Infinity Edge comes in before Thornmail, and that you just stay ahead as the AD carry. You're going to kill things, of course. Meteos and High also posing great threats. Balls added Blade of the Ruin King. All these things adding up to killing the front line. Even LemonNation is ready to dive in there. He's got a Zonias.
And he has been, too. He's had some very strong multiple enemy ultis that he's gotten off in these fights. Cloud9 making some adaptations that we were not expecting coming into this one. This is not the direction that we thought they were going to go with, but it's working ridiculously well.
You know what I really like about the, not only the Morgana pick, but the Zhonya's Hourglass as well? Quas, Dominate, Bunny FuFuu have in buttons, but not out buttons. They pretty much can't get out of Morgana ulti.
Yeah, they were banking everything on this being like a strong team fight. They look really brawly here. But the way that Cloud9 are dealing with this are with the builds and with that percentage health damage. working so well. Just locking everybody up there. LemonNation.
There comes the dive. IWillDominate getting a bit of support, and they do get the immediate kill on the support. 1-for-1 so far. Bunny FuFuu taking a bunch of pain, sneaking in the back line, does find another. It's double kill for Meteos, but now Cloud9's battle lines pushing forward. Curse on the retreat. Quas down to 1,000 health, gets the heal, does escape. Balls holds tower aggro. That's enough for his team to keep the push going. 4 versus 3. Cocoon is going to miss. The wave clear comes in. Curse gonna stay alive, but they're already losing
Nexus
one.
turret number 2.
It's taking a little bit of damage. Looks like that will just survive, but yes, Curse have already lost one of their Nexus turrets. Of course, that mid hit was already dead.
Yeah, I mean, Cloud9 coming out strong once again. Very calm early game. 24 minutes before that first ace that they were able to get mid. And Curse were not expecting that at all. Just jumping into the fight. They were the ones who tried to cut off Cloud9 and force it. See, this time again, they try and force it. Dominate goes in first. They burst down Lemon, and they actually knock him up so that he can't Zanya's late. And they take him down before he's able to even use it. But it doesn't matter. They spent so much time taking him out. Cloud9 were able to focus their damage and force Curse to back off.
It was a good choice by Balls. He realized the chase was done, but waited, knowing that he had turret aggro, saying, "Hi, get out of there, get away from turret range." Okay. And then, like, once they all left, he pieced out. Like, there's so much team fight awareness by all the members of Cloud9. Everyone knows their own role. Balls held turret aggro, and made sure he didn't drop it all fight long, being the big tank for his team. So many smart things going on here. Double cooldown boots, Meteos and LemonNation both. Tons of CC comes out of those roles.
Yeah, this game really has been all about those team fights. Those would be good to review for most of the teams in the LCS, actually. Cloud9 really putting that on display.
So, 13-7 now, winning in this game. 10,000 gold lead for these guys. It's going to be nice. Meteos with the finished lock. We'll talk about that one, though. 25 CDR and items. It's going to bring many more Cocoons into these fights. Now that he's level 15, he's back to a 1.5 second stun with that spell. Only gets better from here.
Yeah.
Balls has rank 3 ultimate. That's a big point.
They nerfed Elise's early game and gave him that utility buff later. And Meteos just plays right into it. It's his favorite champion. He's like, okay, you're changing the direction of the champion. And they're so fluid. Cloud9 accept it and they take it and they just run with it here. Getting that Void Staff so that he can actually still do damage while providing everything else for the team. All right, this is another flank from Curse, forcing another fight here. Trundle gonna teleport in though.
Dark Binding, Cocoon's gonna land as well. Quas running towards the back lines, down extremely low on health though, has to disengage. Dominate gets a nice ulti across. Here comes the team fight. The front line though, so low from Curse. Balls taking it through. 2 kills to Cloud9 so far. Bunny FuFuu forced to retreat. Voyboy also getting chased down. There's gonna be 3 kills. It's gonna be 4 kills. Cloud9 crushed the fight.
Yeah, again, Curse just keep on forcing the fight over and over. 5 men, Cloud9 always reacting to it very, very well. Lemon actually lands a good binding to start it off. Oh, flash pillar there. I thought it was because of a surrender, but it is not. Cloud9 will go on the Nexus turrets.
Here we go, turret number 1. Actually, the final turret, I gotta say, of the Nexus, no one is alive except for Cop. He's just chilling, wearing a beach towel, but this is gonna be game 1, going to Cloud9. Nicely played.
Such a clean game from them.
Yeah.
So calm. The early misstep there around Dragon did cost them. Mundo was able to go where he pleases for the first 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But at 24, bit off more than he could chew, and Curse sort of returned to it, forcing 3 fights in a row, losing all 3 consecutively. And it's a very quick cleanup for the game after that.
Yeah, the game was over before 33 minutes in, so after that first team fight, it ended within 10. You're seeing Cloud9 grouping up, doing a quick huddle, making sure they know what they want to do for the next game right here, saying, okay, you know, we look at the analysis, we see what Curse wants to do. And Quas still had a good game, it just seems like there wasn't the follow-up when he did engage, when he was that tank. The damage didn't show up.
Yeah, they did not have a lot of punch that they were looking for to bring. Interesting adaptation too, because both teams made the Locket of the Iron Solari.
Yeah.
It was an item that we hadn't seen for a long time, and all of a sudden, in playoffs weekend, coming back very, very strong.
Yeah, and it was interesting because, again, we actually did see the teams, actually, they were a little bit different, right? But it was like these, you know, tanky front line, sort of slightly low damage, especially for Curse, right? Like Mundo is very very drain tanky, very sustainy. Zhao, same way, has some burst, but he's going to want to hit you a lot. Lulu, again, not the high damage source. Graves is bursty early on, but not the hyper carry type of champion. Where you've got like Leblanc there trying to one-shot people. Elise building a Void Staff. Right? It felt like there was just more burst, and it actually worked out for Cloud9. Their second rotations came in, then someone died.
Yeah, you would get kind of thrown off expecting what Cloud9 would do with just the champion picks, but the build paths were really the interesting part about this one. And they actually didn't need to get any picks to get their comp rolling because Curse kept engaging on them, and they were able to react so quickly. They were able to get the huge advantage just through Curse's engages.
Yeah, and one thing I'm like still thinking about as well is the fact that, and you talk about build paths, but cooldown reduction boots showing up in 2 members. Now, they're not like a super rare item, but you don't see it often. If you go a game without the item being bought, that makes sense. Super tanky lineups mean longer fights, mean cooldown more important. You get more rotations off.
Also, we do see it a lot on Morgana.
That's true.
So LemonNation, he probably is running those runes as well. A lot of Morgana's running that cooldown reduction runes, but I do like your point. Cooldown reduction in the new meta with all the heals and the longer team fights definitely pays dividends.
Gonna get your spells off. So guys, remember to share your highlights from today by tweeting at LOL Esports and using the hashtag LCS Big Plays. Now let's send it over to Quickshot, Jat, and St. Vicious to break down Cloud9's win.
Thank you very much, Freak. Congratulations to Cloud9. A little bit hairy there, I felt, for the first 20, 25 minutes. Before we talk about some of the specifics in game, Curse got their comfort picks. They got Lulu, they got Dr. Mundo. They came out the gate swinging. I didn't feel like they were getting bullied around like we seen yesterday.
It definitely felt like they kept a lot of their momentum from the series they had yesterday against Dignitas right into the Cloud9 game. They got the Mundo and Lulu. Once again, that's a combo that really works well for them. And honestly, they were in a position to win the game.
Yeah, it looked like when that Trundle, once he got enough tank stats though, where they couldn't just spike him out, he was unkillable. Like, Curse's team comp just didn't have anywhere near enough damage to kill him. And
I wanna pick your brain about that Trundle pick, because if you looked at Cloud9's comp, in my mind there was a lot of pick-type champions. You know, the Elise, Leblanc, Morgana, land something, blow somebody up. And the Trundle, while it did work out, it took a very long time for Cloud9 to really get rolling. What's your take on Trundle and how it fitted in with Cloud9 after seeing the whole game?
I mean, at the beginning, it looked like it was a really weak pick because he didn't. Like, Trundle needs a lot of items before he can become a relevant champion. And it looked like they were going through the band's pick phase, and they're like, wait, how are we going to kill this Mundo? Like, oh, I'll just ulti him with the Trundle, and we'll just burn him down. And yeah, once Cloud9 got a lead, they just ran Curse over in team fights.
Yeah, I don't have too much to add about that. I think Curse had their comfortable team comp. Cloud9 had an insurance strategy with the Trundle pick. The LeBlanc was to get them at the learning phase and run around the map and kill people, and the Trundle was just there just in case.
Well, we do have a replay. Initially, you felt like Curse was somewhat in control of the game. Let's pull the first replay up onto your screens. 13 minutes in. This is actually the second Dragon fight. The first one went pretty badly for Curse. This one goes a little bit better. Saint, talk us through what went right, what went wrong, as we roll the clip out.
Yeah, I think like the big mistake from Cloud9's part right here was they blew all of their damage and CC on Bunny FuFuu, and they didn't even spike him out and kill him. So what happens is Dominate ends up going on High. High has no abilities up because he just used them on the support, and they just stick on him with this team comp. It's just a bunch of slows, a bunch of really tanky people hard to kill, and they just whittle everybody down. So this is exactly the type of team fight that Curse is looking for. And you see Morgana gets a really good ultimate in here, right in the center of the team, but Graves has the passive for all the magic resist and armor. Lulu has all of her shield, so it doesn't really do enough damage, and they just train him down the entire time while Quas is keeping everybody busy.
Yeah, and this is just the strength point of the Mundo Lulu team composition. They get those extended team fights where they will continue to damage you while you just straight up can't kill them, and this is the point where it really seemed like Curse might have something going.
Yep.
In theory. Yeah. And a little bit later, around 24 minutes on the clock, Curse initiate a massive team fight. It could have won them the game. Unfortunately, execution came into play. So let's pull that second replay up onto your screens. It does come a little bit later in this matchup. And I know when we were watching it, we felt, well, Curse, they went a bit ham, maybe a little too ham. Jat, talk us through what you liked and disliked about this.
This was the story of the game. I thought this was a great teleport because Curse felt like they were stronger in the fight. I just feel like they misplayed the fight and Cloud9 outplayed them. First off, the Mundo ultimate popped way too fast, so he didn't get the maximum effectiveness out of this. And secondly, look where Voyboy puts himself in this fight. Right in the middle of it, right next to LemonNation. He gets blown up, and once Voyboy is down, the shields and speed from Mundo are gone as well. And since Quas used his ultimate, he didn't have that. Mundo Lulu is the heart of the Curse teamfight composition, and they mismanaged their cooldowns and allowed Cloud9 to just stick in there and beat them in a sustained fight, which if Curse used their spells properly, I don't think would have happened.
Yep, and Cloud9 just snowballed off this. They took the Baron right after this. I'm like, wait, Trundle actually has some items now. He's really damn hard to kill with that low DPS.
I mean, I think the game was over after this fight, but right up until this fight, Curse was in such a great position to win. This was a full ace, plus the Baron. And what was it, 5 or 10 minutes after that, the game was completely over.
Yeah, it's just such a huge shift in gold. It's just done. You just don't have enough damage on Curse's team comp to win.
So Kobe talked about the itemizations. I know we were talking a little bit about it. I want to put you guys on the spot. Let's look at, for example, Meteos. He went for those Ionian Boots of Lucidity, Ancient Golem into Void Staff, got some pen. We were discussing maybe CDR runes. Didn't turn out to be the case. Double lockets being rushed, on both sides of the teams. What was your take on some of the items? Did you also think it was a little oddball, or it's what you expected?
I thought the Elise build was something I didn't expect, but after you think about it, their whole comp is built around getting these picks. And of course, Elise she has really high base numbers on her abilities, so if you can just rotate those abilities faster, you can do more damage overall. And of course, he fought for his last item, I think, for the end of the game was a Void Staff.
Yeah.
So the pen didn't even really matter that much in the end. And of course, he has Tenacity from the Ancient Golem. So kind of a weird build at the start, but it makes sense in the end.
Meteos has actually been experimenting with a lot of different builds on Elise ever since the Elise nerfs happened. He's tried Spectral Wraith, maxing E second, making up for the damage and getting a 2-second stun. This seems to be the one he settled on. It's a big tanky build, which is nice for Cloud9, but then once he gets the Void Staff, he actually cycles more damage than he did before, so it's a slightly slower scaling, better late game Elise build than he previously had.
So let's step back, look at the game as a whole. I felt that Curse put up a much better fight than they did yesterday throughout most of the series. They were in control for a while. Maybe one poorly executed team fight really sort of sealed their deal. Cloud9, on the other hand, a little slow out the gate. It is, of course, their first game of the weekend. What's your take? I mean, do you think Cloud9 are now going to warm up, or was this just a matter of having this oddball composition that struggled early?
I think the fact that Curse was coming out of the series that they had with Dig helped them out a lot. I mean, you saw that they implemented the strategy that Dig did, where they did the level 2 push, and they just pretty much copied it, and so did Cloud9. So that helped them out a lot. I think Cloud9 might be warmed up now, though, so it's going to be a lot crazier of a game.
Yeah, I think actually Curse's best strategy was the Lulu Mundo, and they lost with it. So either they try it again, probably lose again because Cloud9 is going to be more warmed up, or they try something entirely different that maybe catches Cloud9 by surprise. But Cloud9 is not typically the team that successfully gets caught off guard. They're very good at running their stuff.
Yeah, and I think you heard Charlie saying in the interview as well that they're not sure what Curse are going to play, not sure what oddball picks, so they're going to focus on their own game, focus on their own compositions. We're a couple minutes away from going to an ad break, so I want to talk about Game 2 in more depth. Coming out of the gate, Ruiz and Jax were banned away by Cloud9. They are now on the red side. Is there even room for discussion that Jax is going to make it through? Maybe it's the first blue side Jax ban that we've seen all weekend.
I don't see Jax coming out. No. It's just losing to a Jax is one of the most brutal losses, just because it's like, well, who are we going to send up there to deal with that guy? He's kind of strong, and he just took her in him. All right, we lose.
Yeah, not after what Quas did with it yesterday, and not after how much Cloud9 respects the Jax pick. They can deal with pretty much anything else, but they're not going to want to deal with the Jax.
So very quickly, predictions. Is Cloud9 going to pick up a second game, or are we going to a decider?
Yeah, I think Cloud9 is most likely coming out 2-0. They're strong momentum. They were the favorites coming in. Game 1 was the chance for, I think, Curse to pick up a surprise win, and that's gone.
Yep, I'd like to give it to Curse, but I'm sorry, it's Cloud9.
Well, there we go. We've heard the analysts talking about it. We do have to go to a very quick ad break. When we come back, we'll see if Cloud9 can lock out their spot in the finals when they battle it out with Curse in Game 2. The North American LCS will return faster than a flash cooldown.
But gets the ulti and Cocoon coming across. There comes IWillDominate, hits 3. A big burst comes through, does not quite catch Voyboy though. LemonNation healing himself. Voy, he will almost drop. He does 1 for 0, but Cloud9 start to melt. 2 for 1 so far. Actually, Cloud9 still staying ahead. Cop puts the damage on. He finds high. Quas falls down. Sneaky forced to run. He does stay alive. LemonNation and Meteos find the cleanup actually. Cloud9 crushing the battle.